All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Ephraim. Today's date, November 30th, 2022. Back at you with another one. All right. Welcome, everyone. Uh, Welcome all my new subscribers. And even if my subscribers who've been there for a while, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and select all. So you'll be notified every time I upload a new presentation. Make sure y'all continue to like the presentations and view the video, comment, and I try my best to engage with each of you. And I appreciate your support for the channel as we continue to grow it. All right, now since I have so many new subscribers, I don't know why some of y'all. I really recommend seriously if you're new to my channel, and you feel in the spirit and the vibe. I really highly recommend you go through my 200 something odd videos and just click on a title that gets your attention and just kind of get up to speed, on who I am, how I got here, my testimony, the whole nine. And, a lot of what I post would make more sense to you if you became more familiar with who I am and how I got, to this position or in this position to teach and speak about the things I'm speaking about. Right. So, do that definitely, plenty of free knowledge, cost you nothing, just some time to sit and maybe get some headphones and just vibe and just listen to the words by grace and mercy of the Most High. Now, the title of this presentation, man, for those of you who may know my history, or even if you don't, my journey to get here, as an Israelite was, it started a long time ago. I was raised Christian, coming from the South, you know, um, grandmother, going to Sunday school, church on Sundays, all that whole nine. And, fast forward, got older, met a lot of different people, different, backgrounds and stuff. And I got introduced to, I met a 5%er from Brooklyn. He started telling me about the whole, black man is God and black man created himself out of triple stage darkness, all these different things. And I always consider myself an intellect, so it sounded really intelligent and sounded believable, especially the actual facts, because those actual facts were really actual facts, like, as far as how far the earth is from the sun and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so from that, I went to, I took my Shahada. And for those of you who aren't, familiar with what a Shahada is, it's kind of like an oath of affirmation. Like basically, when you take the Shahada to convert to Islam, supposedly all your sins are forgiven. At that point, after you take your Shahada and you've kind of washed up all your sins, whatever. And it's kind of like a spiritual kind of rebirth thing. It's called Shahada. I took my Shahada. And then I was a full-fledged Sunni Muslim, offering five, Salat, which is prayer 5 times a day, Juma on Fridays, and our book was the Holy Quran, right? And so, I'm uniquely qualified to speak about Islam, to speak about Christianity, and to speak about being an Israelite. So with this particular lesson, I want to kind of hit two birds with one stone. I don't want to use the K word. I don't want to get the video flagged, but and I'm speaking to all my brothers and sisters who embrace both religions, Islam and Christianity. Um, and why I feel and why basically neither one of those. Well, I won't go there just yet. Let me just say this. Excuse me. The reason why a lot of brothers and some sisters, cleave to the religion of Islam is because, in our minds, it's a healthy choice from embracing the religion who we felt of our oppressors or oppressors of our people, right? But in saying that, we make that determination not knowing that Muslims were no different. Muslims held our people captive as well. I mean, this is fact. Okay, we can't gloss over it. We can't romanticize it. Let's deal with it head on, right? Now, what I just said, I didn't know back in the day. I honestly didn't, right? So there's no shame in being ignorant. Everyone was at some point, but it's a curable thing though. It comes, really with, deep, research, reading, listening, and praying for the spirit of discernment and the spirit of understanding, right? You know, um, if you'd have told me something like what I just said back in the day, I'd have been like, man, you lying. You got to show me something. How what you mean Muslims were our oppressors as well as the the so-called Christian slave owners were or whatever. So, Christianity to a lot of our brothers represented the establishment, represented, the people who had their foots on our proverbial necks, coming up, holding us back in terms of not giving us equal opportunities, all these different things, right? So in a lot of our minds, we stepped to Islam because we felt like, Islam was a healthy um, alternative, number one, and two, majority of your mainstream Christians, really disliked Islam for whatever reasons, and so a lot of blacks feel like, well, we share a lot in common because they dislike us too, right? And if you think about that from that standpoint, it makes sense. It's like Islam was looked at as like the bastard child, the bad people, this and that, terrorism, all this and that. Well, my thing is, listen, there was Christian terrorists throughout history too. I mean, don't try to make it seem like Muslims invented terrorism. I mean, let's name a few. Timothy McVeigh, right? David Koresh. You listen. The list goes on for so-called Christian terrorism. Whatever, whatever. Don't try to play it off like Arab Muslims invented terrorism. I'm just saying, right? So anyway, I'm trying to give those who don't really understand why a lot of blacks embrace Islam and reject Christianity. There's a lot of reasons for that. I'm gonna try to keep it under 15 minutes, man, no more than 20-25. But y'all know how it go, man. I'm speaking from the heart. I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking for what I know. I'm speaking from my belly. I don't have a Quran in front of me. I don't have a Holy Bible. But and my thing is too, with that being said right there, it's like if you've never read the Quran, you're not in position to really have an argument or even a so-called debate with anyone, who was Muslim or who was Muslim before, or what I'm saying. If you only know because there's a lot of people that claim Christianity, they don't know nothing really about the Bible. So it's like, how can you claim to be a part of something and you don't really know nothing about it? You don't even know no scripture. You can't go to no kind of verse that just nothing, right? So again, that's something that's curable, but you'll be surprised, man. People embrace things, they regurgitate things that they were taught. They don't really understand why. They were taught that, and so that's just what they believe, and then that's what it is, or whatever. But upon closer inspection, and I'm telling y'all, the truth. I don't have no reason to lie to you. I've been a Muslim. Can't nobody tell me about Islam, man. Like real talk. I was for over 5 years. I was a practicing Muslim, straight up Sunni, Kufi, the whole nine, right? Stepping in right for the first in the masjid. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The men prayed separately from the women. The whole nine, the whole shebang. I was Ahmed Shakur. That was my Muslim name. Ahmed. Well, I call myself Ahmed. I was a cool American dude, so it was Ahmed to me. But they was telling me it was Ahmed. Whatever. I'm gonna be Ahmed. Don't tell me my name. You know what I mean? But anyway, there's a lot about the religion, the way they do things. I really respected. I really liked or whatever. You know, um, again, I think it was unfair to label Islam and Muslims as terrorists, quote unquote, because there are a lot of American Christian terrorists. They don't get the same vitriol or whatever. Don't try to clean it up. I mean, let's deal with it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The Ku Klux Klan, they terrorists. White nationalism, that's terrorism. Anything having to do with a race of people to think that they're superior and go about trying to hurt another race of people, man, that's terrorism. They're terrorists. Let's call it what it is. So, um, you know, if you've never read the Quran, I'm gonna say this: the Quran, in its most purest form, is a beautiful book, man. I mean, I've read it, the whole thing, because when I took my first Shahada, one of the things, the goal is to be able to read the whole Quran. So I've had a few, shahadas, and I've read the Quran a few times or whatever the case may be. And the only thing Muslims are admonished to stay away from is it's a collection of books and works called hadiths. And the hadiths is like the New Testament to Christians. The hadiths supposedly are things that Prophet Muhammad, who's the prophet of Islam, the things that he did, things that he said, how he did it, things like that, right? But here's the problem: a lot of the hadiths are not true. They're not. They've been made up. People put untrue things in there. They just made up their own hadiths and attributed it to Prophet Muhammad. Does that sound familiar? They did the same thing in the New Testament. So the hadiths to Muslims are the same as New Testaments are to Christians, or even to Israelites, right? There are a lot of things, and I don't know and I don't know if y'all ever gave this description verse much thought when it said that anyone who adds or take away from this book, may the plagues in this book will be added unto you. There was a reason why the Most High had that put in there. He knew what man was going to do, man, to God's word in the Holy Bible as we know it. He knew what time it was. God has the gift of insight, foresight, whatever other kind of sight you can think of. The Most High has it, right? He knew what man was going to do. But I bet y'all what y'all didn't know is that in the Quran, he promised. Let me say this real quick before I get to that. People tend to forget that the Ishmaelites, the seeds of Ishmael. I'm gonna say that. I ain't gonna say Arab Muslim. That's kind of the seeds of Ishmael are God's people, right? I don't know why people can't seem to grasp that, or they keep trying to disrespect Islam and Muslims, but they're God's people. They're from Shem, man. Like, what do y'all? I don't understand. Like, they are from Shem. Now, yes, the whole thing between Islam and Israelites, that's a real thing, stemming from Shem's animosity towards Isaac. I dealt with that in a presentation or whatever. That's a real thing. But does it take away from us being related to them? No, it doesn't. Right, like I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe we're like half first cousins or whatever. So that whole animosity thing, it's like a kind of family feud, if you will. Islam and the Israelites, the true seeds of Jacob, right? So, but in the Quran, it said that the Most High promised, what they refer to him as Allah. But for those who don't know, those who misunderstand and just standing on ignorance, Allah is not some rock god, as I've heard, ignorant brothers say or whatever. Allah is just the Arabic name for the Most High. That's all it is. Allah is the creator of the heavens, the earth, everything below, everything between. I mean, listen, you talking to a brother I've lived it. You understand? I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know, and because I'm enlightened, I'm in a unique position to speak about this. You understand? A lot of these brothers, they never practice Islam. They cherry pick the Quran, or they cherry pick things that they want to say to kind of use it to speak against it. You understand what I'm saying? There's a difference when you like someone like me, a brother that actually lived that, and I know what the Quran says. I know that no Muslim should listen to any book but the Quran, and that's why you have a lot of extremist groups that listen to hadiths, and they do things based in the hadiths, not the Quran, right? Because in the Quran gives us clarity on stuff that like, for example, in the Quran, it gives Mary the utmost respect. The mother of Yeshua, the utmost respect. They give Jesus, Yeshua, the utmost respect. Um, they don't the biggest difference in Islam and Christianity as far as the role of Jesus. You know, Sunni Muslims believe and think that Yeshua is a righteous prophet, but they believe that no man should be attributed to be the son of the Most High. That's their position. And for a while, uncomfortably, I kind of adopted that, even though I never really set right in my spirit. I never really agreed with that, but I kind of went with it because, I mean, that's what I was, Islam, right? So even though I just didn't believe it in my spirit, I always believed that, that Jesus, Yeshua, was the son of the Most High. I always believed that. So anyway, in the Quran, it said that the Most High promised them that no one was going to tamper with that book. The Quran is been in its purest form, unchanged for thousands of years. Man, that is exceptional to me. I mean, to be able to, you understand, like, seriously. And so, we can't say that about the Holy Bible, and because overzealous men, Christian Romans and Greeks and whoever, had their own agenda. You understand? But yet and still, I feel that that's something phenomenal. They talk about how the Prophet Muhammad even gave Islam to the Muslims or whatever, and they in ignorance they harp on the fact that the Prophet Muhammad was quote unquote, he was unlearned. In other words, he couldn't read or write. And if you read the Holy Quran, man, I'm telling you, just like with the books of the Prophet Enoch, if you read the Holy Quran, didn't no man write that, because the Quran was manifested to the Prophet Muhammad by the angel Gabriel, right? And so instead of focusing on how glorious something like that is, they trying to detract from the fact that that the Prophet Muhammad gave the Quran to the Muslims and couldn't read or write. They didn't attach to the gloriousness of that, just the power of the Most High by being able to do that, by the angel Gabriel. They looking at it because, oh, how did he give them Quran? He couldn't read or write. And they looking at it all messed up, all wrong. Like, see, so that's how the spirit of Yah is not in them. They trying to, and their overzealousness of trying to represent for being an Israelite, or even being a Christian, you're trying to disrespect the Muslims and putting all of them in one category. I mean, who does that sound like? They do the same thing to us. It doesn't matter what our title is, whatever. They try to lump us all together, all blacks are alike, or whatever. They don't respect. They're not no respecter of person as far as us, and Muslims ain't no different. Right? Yeah, we know all about the beef between the original Ishmaelites and Isaac and the children of Israel. We get all that, right? But my thing is, I'm speaking to my people who are Christians and Muslims, the brothers especially, because 5% was a derivative of the Nation of Islam, which is a derivative of Orthodox or Sunni Islam or Al Islam, right? It's all offshoots of that. The Nation of Islam was started by actually by a man who I think he was Turkish, and he's like mixed. If you look at him, he looked like, on the surface, he looked like a white man, but his name was oh gosh, what was his name? Yeah, Farad Muhammad, back in the 1930s, and somehow he met Elijah Muhammad and started teaching him. And he told him when he met Elijah that he was God in the flesh, and so they started calling this man Master Farad Muhammad, right? And Elijah was his messenger, and so yeah, that's the reason why Clarence the 13X broke off and started a 5% nation of gods and earths, because he didn't believe calling some white man master. And, he said, not a black man is God. The 5%, the poor righteous teachers, know who the true and living God is and all that. So he broke off from that, started a 5%. So anyway, my thing is, this Farad Muhammad disappeared, just kind of fell off the face of the earth. I'm not going to repeat the rumor of what happened to him. I'm not going to do that, but y'all can research it. It's out there, supposedly what happened to him. He didn't just disappear, if you know what I'm saying. I'm just say that. But anyway, when he was no longer around, Elijah took full control, full reign of the Nation of Islam, did his thing. And on the eve of, or just shortly before he passed away, he said he was going to turn it over to his son, the Nation of Islam, over to Warith Deen Muhammad. And so, because Warith Deen had already approached him and told him he was teaching our people wrong, that this isn't Islam, yada, yada, yada. So he got mad and kicked him out, but then he knew he was right. So then he called him back and said, well, you're right. But, when my time comes and I die, whatever like that, you take them to, Al Islam. So that's what Warith Deen Muhammad did. When his father, Elijah Muhammad, died, he basically shut the Nation of Islam down, and he started taking them to Al Islam, to Sunni Islam, right? The whole 5 times a day thing, whatever. And then, so the pushback from our people was like, well, maybe the Nation of Islam, maybe our ways of doing things were different, but didn't know Arab Muslims come in our hood and save us or talk to us, whatever the case may be. So there was pushback from that. Right. So boom, so cue in the brother minister, Louis Farrakhan. He comes in, I think he kind of rolled with it for a minute. Warren Dean gave the brother a new name and everything, and brother Farrakhan, the brother minister, he rolled with it for a while, but then he was like, nah, I'm not feeling this, So basically he started the Nation of Islam back up, and here we are. Now, Warren Dean Muhammad was Elijah's son. He eventually, I believe he passed. So I don't know who, how that whole thing transpired, but that's basically the gist of how, the brother minister is still leading the Nation of Islam today. Because Warren Dean, Elijah's son, initially took it over, but he wasn't feeling the whole Orthodox thing, the whole the olive skinned dudes with the silky beards. He wasn't feeling that. He wanted the Nation of Islam back. So there you go with that. But my thing is to you brothers that's embracing Islam, or any form of it. I don't care if it's nation 5%, whatever the case may be. If you're embracing it because you think you rejecting Christianity is somehow making you feel or feeling more empowered, or I don't know, I can't really speak to that, but I'm saying if you embracing Islam as a religion, then you might as well embrace Christianity. I mean, and vice versa. Like seriously, because both of the men and the people that introduced those religions to us were oppressors of our people. Well, I will say the people that introduced Christianity to our people, our descendants, they were oppressors, and then the Islam, the Muslims didn't introduce us to Islam because a lot of those Arab Muslims were trying to enslave us and stuff or whatever. So, but the point I'm making is that they're both two and the same. If you embracing the one, you might as well embrace the other. If that's what you're thinking, like what I'm saying, because one of them ain't one of them either is right for the Negroes, straight up. What y'all need to understand, for you brothers and sisters I'm trying to awaken, and thank God for touching Kyrie Irving and raising him up by his grace and mercy. But what I want y'all to understand is that the Negroes are the true Hebrew Israelites, and guess what? We have our own religion. It's not even a religion, it's more like a way of life as Israelites. It's called, the Ten Commandments, everything, and all the laws and the statutes and commandments in the first 5 books of the Holy Bible, as you know it. That's called the Torah. Okay, those are our laws. That's our religion. Okay, Christianity is not our religion. It's not. It's a made up religion, basically by the Romans. They made it popular by Roman Constantine, made Christianity popular. They wrote stuff and put stuff in the New Testament, made Jesus God, and boom, made him into a religion. And that's not what Yeshua came for. He didn't come to start no religion. He told us out his own mouth. He said, "I've come not to abolish or do away with any laws." You understand? He said, I'm sent not but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." So he told us who he came for. Right? So we can just do away with all that romanticizing of who he is and what he came for. Like Christianity is not for Negroes. It's not, and it's not a racial thing at all. You understand? The Most High God is not a racist. He was a separatist. Why do I say that? I say that because the Most High God didn't want the children of Israel mixing with no other nation, period. Why? Because the same reasons what's going on with us right now. We're embracing all these other different religions. We all over the place. We don't know what's what. We don't know up from down. We don't have a nationality. You got brothers, Negroes thinking they Egyptians and walking around with stupid Egyptian, chains and all kind of just stupid, just foolishness. And that's why we all over the place, my people. I mean, no disrespect. I'm just making the point. Okay, that's why we all over the place. When in reality, the first 5 books is our religion. Even though it's not actually a religion, it's more like a way of life. We have our laws. What happens is our ancestors didn't want to abide by them. They kept, murmuring, complaining, and being stiff-necked and want to worship idols and all kinds of foolishness that our ancestors were doing. And the Most High God got tired of us, and he cursed us and ran us up out of Israel, and said he was going to scatter us to all 4 corners of the world. And here we are. Okay, here we are. Christianity is not for us, man. It's not. It's not. It's not. Islam is not for us. But I'm not saying Islam is a religion for the Ishmaelites. We are not Ishmaelites. We are not from that seed. We are not from that nation. We have our laws. You understand? The first 5 books of the what's called the Old Testament is actually called the Torah. That's the Torah. For many of you who don't know, okay, that's our religion right there. If you a Negro, as an Israelite, straight up and down. So all this, trying to make one seem like this, and making the others seem like that. Neither one of those religions are for our people. And I don't say that in a disrespectful way at all. I'm saying it, and I'm saying it in as insightful as I can. If you are a Negro, E1B1A, and from that line you are an Israelite, and our laws and our religion is in the first 5 books of what they call the Old Testament. All right, that's the Torah. So Christianity ain't no better than Islam from that standpoint, and Islam ain't no better than Christianity. They're both religions of our oppressors. Real talk. And don't take my word for me. Look it up. You can Google the images and see the Muslim oppressors of our people on those slave ships. They had a huge hand in the transatlantic slave trade and the enslavement of our people. So don't so please, man. And I know the rappers made it real popular to Islam, whatever like that. But man, they ain't no different or no better than the oppressive Christians who had our people enslaved and taught and taught them the Bible, but they basically bastardized the Bible and made and said parts of the Bible that made our people feel like they were supposed to be slaves. They were cursed to be slaves and all this kind of stuff. So yeah. They ain't no better, man. They ain't no better. Islam and Christianity are both religions of the oppressors of our people. And if you really want to be like, listen, we got our own thing, man. And like I said, don't believe me. Check it out. First 5 books of Moses. I think that's why they didn't want the slaves reading back in the day, because if we'd have read, our people would have saw that we was Israel. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, we can't let them see that. We can't let them see the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. Oh, no, they'll be on to us then. We let them read or whatever. That when they had the slaves, have church, there were certain scriptures and passages they could read, and they couldn't go too far left or right from those scripture and verses that was chosen by their oppressors. I mean, that's some realness right there, man. That really happened. That really went down like that. You understand? So, when we talk about, Christianity versus Islam, it ain't those ain't the only 2 religions. I mean, we got a lot of brothers and sisters that practice Buddhism that into that, of course, we got the agnostics. That's not a religion, but they don't believe in anything basically, or they don't believe there's enough evidence to believe in anything. And of course, you have the atheists. They have no spiritual foundation. You know what I mean? All these different religions, man. Mormonism, Catholicism, and I don't see how any black person could follow Catholicism with a straight face, man, knowing the history of the Roman Catholic Church. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day, man. But listen, come back home, Israel, my brothers and sisters, man. Come back home. We have our religion. Let them keep their Christianity. Let them keep Islam. Like, seriously, no disrespect. But that's not for us, man. That is not for us. The Most High Himself gave us laws, statutes, and commandments to follow. You understand? We got to get back to that. He made a covenant through Isaac and Jacob, our forefather, who we're from. We got to get back to that, Israel. All right. So I just want to say that. And I'm going to leave on that note. I hope this inspires some. Like, again, I didn't mean no disrespect, but I just had to make my points. I'm speaking to my peoples, man. Even my Christian and my Muslim brothers who happen to find this channel, don't come on this channel with all your feelings, man. You understand? Because I'm not disrespecting you. I'm not, none of that. That's not what I do. But at the same time, I got to speak to the children of Israel and what thus said the Lord of hosts or whatever. Those are my people. You understand? If you want to sojourn and stand with Israel, then, sojourn and stand with Israel. But don't come in the right spirit, though. Don't come just trying to disrespect me or kind of come at me, in any kind of way, because I ain't even finna have that. I ain't even going down like that. You understand? I respect you. You respect me. Like the Most High said, I love them that love me. All right? And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and sign on to the next lesson. And I hope y'all got something from it, some inspiration, something, until the next time. This is Dr. Ephraim signing off. Saying Shalom, elect.